Yo, welcome to Pitch Report. I'm Mario.
And I'm Amilcar.
And today we are joined by a longtime friend of the pod and frequent collaborator, Florent. Welcome back. How are you?
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm doing very well, very excited and very pumped to be the champion of Europe, you know.
I think it's the best circumstances we've ever had you on the show. So, yeah, how are you feeling after PSG's coronation, basically, 5-0?
That's crazy, right? Even in my dreams, I couldn't have dreamt of such a beautiful game. I'm still flying, to be honest with you. Took me a couple of days to realize that it was real and not just a fantasy of mine. So, yeah, still flying, still enjoying it, and rewatching the game so many times, and before and after. It's amazing, yeah.
I can literally only imagine, which is so sad as a Mexico fan. Amilcar at least has won a World Cup, and but even the closest thing I've had was when the Padres made it to the NLCS, which is like the semifinals, and I was so happy for like a week. I would just rewatch all the videos and read everyone's comments, so I can only a little bit jealously imagine what you're going through. What's it been like? Because I think you're obviously more connected to like French media and like French outlets that cover like PSG from like maybe a France perspective rather than like a show like us or anyone like in the US. What are people saying?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's pretty pumped except Marseille, obviously, because it's a big derby in France, big rivalry. I watched the game on French TV and they started coverage maybe 5 hours before the game and stayed on for like 4 hours after the game, and the following day there were celebrations. It was almost all day long on French national TV, you know, just not pay TV or anything. It was everywhere, you know. A French team winning the Champions is kind of unique, so I guess almost everybody in France was behind PSG, and yeah, it felt great, man. I mean, we had so many disappointments in the past years, but winning it finally just felt amazing, yeah.
And you were honestly really, really like close in the past. Like you even thought maybe like last year with Mbappe leaving, like we have a lot to get into, but like, did you feel this year you could actually do it, considering like probably one of the best players in the world left the team?
No, not at all. If you look at the season, like at the beginning of the season, we lost Mbappe and we didn't have any striker. Like nobody was scoring goals. And if you look at the first 4 or 5 matches in the Champions, we had 4 points after 4 or 5 games. And we were like 25th out of 32 teams. We were nowhere near being able to qualify for the playoffs. So we were playing pretty well and we were getting better and better, but we were not scoring goals. We had so many chances that we have missed. But all of a sudden, everything started to click after the Manchester City game. And from there, the team just got better and better until that final game, which was just amazing.
Yeah, and now maybe like 10 months later from like a shaky start, you have a treble, which is, yeah, so I would say that's like best case scenario. But yeah, I guess getting it, I'm looking at the show notes and someone changed some of our notes to massacre in Munich. So do we just want to, I don't know if it was Amilcar or Florent, but
it was me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You want to talk about that, Amilcar?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's always fun to come up with the clever names for for matches. And this one, there was no way to describe it other than a massacre at this point. I know we didn't get to watch the game, but we were actually together for the match, and it was like 3-0, wait, 4-0, wait, like 5, like what the heck's going on, you know? So then rewatching the game was just an absolute blowout. Like the PSG couldn't have played any better, honestly, if they tried to.
Yeah, on Saturday morning, Florent, were you nervous at any point? Because I would imagine like 20 minutes into the game, you're probably feeling pretty calm.
Man, I was nervous for a week before the game, right? Second time that PSG is in the final. We've been playing great, but you never know. Like anything can happen during a final. I felt the team was ready and was on points. Tactically, technically, and athletically, they are in very good shape. Maybe being one of the youngest, if not the youngest team in the Champions this year. I think the average is like 24 years old for the team, against one of the oldest team in the Champions, Inter Milan, where they are like 30 years old on average. I guess it gives you an edge after a very long season of 50 to 70 games. But, very nervous. We had so many disappointments in the past. We had maybe better team on paper in the previous years, and we were not able to make it and win when it mattered the most. So very nervous. Even at 2-0 at halftime, I was like, okay, just stay focused. You never know what can happen, right? Everything can go so quick from one way to another. But I think 5-0 at the end of the day, and I don't want to sound very French and snobby, but I think it could have been worse. Like, we could have scored 8 goals.
Yeah.
We had so many chances, and they didn't have any. Maybe they had 2, maybe one header from Thuram in the first half, and one shot in the second half that Donnarumma made the save. But beside that, we had so many attempts, and I think we had 27 shots or something like this. It was one-sided, and thankfully it was on my side, so I cannot complain.
Yeah, totally agree. I think Thuram had like the header that could have maybe gotten him into the game, and other than that, the Donnarumma save, which was like, I think a low shot like on the left side of the post, that could have maybe also been it. But other than that, it didn't feel like they had much of like a attack really, or much of a threat.
I think, if I can speak again.
Yeah, please. We want you to speak.
Thanks. Luis Enrique is such an amazing coach. Right? He doesn't leave anything behind. He's very prepared. The team is very aware of the opponent. And Simone Inzaghi is a great coach. Like, don't get me wrong, but I think Luis Enrique really outplayed him, and they didn't have many attempts. They didn't have a lot of chances. If you look at the goals, like all of the goals were scored in the near half post, and I think it was prepared because Sommer Inter Milan goal is pretty short for a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Maybe 6'1", 6'2".
Yeah, 6'1".
6. So he likes to anticipate on his opening side, and I'm pretty sure that Luis Enrique prepared that because all of the shots were in the near post, except the first one where it was Hakimi, who's the right back playing as a striker and scoring in the empty net. But all of the other goals and all of the other attempts were in the near goal post, which was, I think, very much prepared.
Yeah, that's true. And I think we saw that the Hakimi goal was a really good that was that play, because even there, Sommer had to like change, and he just couldn't. It was a pretty open shot that went in by Hakimi. He like played that play was really interesting because it started on the left side, and then the goal ended up going on the right side. So that's a really good point. And I like how you bring up Luis Enrique because, like, obviously he's been a really good coach. He's won before with like Barcelona, like a Champions League, but recently I don't think I had as much insight into like his personality, how he presents himself. Obviously, like what's I've known about like the sad story like about his daughter like passing away in the past, but with like the Champions League final coming up, I saw so many really cool videos of like his mentality, his approach. There's one where he's like basically like lecturing Mbappe how he wants him to come back and defend a little bit more. The original video's in Spanish, and he's telling him like you like Michael Jordan like would defend. Michael Jordan, like, you have to be the leader and initiate basically like set the example, especially when you're not scoring goals. You have to like be defensive. And there was another video that I liked even more, where he's basically talking about the mentality of the team. He's like, no one here is special. Like, people that are special, I don't know if either of you have seen it, but like special people are those that like dedicate their lives to like saving lives, people that like do things for others. We're just really lucky that what we're good at like pays really well. He's like, if we were good like table tennis players, we'd be riding a bike, taking the bus, like no one would recognize us. We're just really lucky that what pays well is what we know how to do, which table tennis is taking strays over there. Like, nothing against table tennis, but I just really like his mentality. He seems like a very grounded person. What has been like your thought? Obviously he just won the treble, but like, have you like felt that way about him in general, like always leading up to this?
Yeah, from day one, I guess he was very involved, and we already hired some people from Barcelona who were not into the team, like Messi, for example. He couldn't care less about PSG. So when we brought him in, I knew he was a great tactician, but was he really be very into PSG and tried his best to make PSG win and make it as a team. I think the team has never played as good as before. Like as of today, the team never played like that before.
Yeah.
And there is no superstar like before, like Zlatan, Neymar, Mbappe, Messi. None of those people are here. We have great players, but they are not superstars. And I think that's the big difference between his approach and the previous approach. I mean, it's not just about the coach. It's about PSG itself. They really changed their way of thinking. They wanted to build the long term. That's why they have young players. And all that matters now is the club itself. It's not the players or one or two players.
And there'd been a lot of things before, like when you haven't like won like a big championship, you want to like try to figure out why. What is it? Something outside of the football? There was like Buffon had said like in Paris, like they're never gonna win. There's like just too much going on, like too much appeal, like nightlife, too much other things that matter, that like distract players. And it seems like obviously that's been disproved now. Like that's not necessarily the case anymore. You mentioned a superstar leaving, and he left to Amilcar's club, Real Madrid. How have you seen anything about like Mbappe, either Amilcar or Florent, like since literally the team he left to the team that won the Champions League, and then the team he left now won the Champions League?
I mean, I think I can definitely touch base on it from one side of it. Obviously, not the winning side for sure. But I don't know. For me, I'm like, you got to feel for the guy. Like, he's been trying to win it with PSG for so long. And then the second he leaves, they win it. And he was supposed to come to Real Madrid last year. Didn't come. We win the Champions League. Now he comes. PSG wins the Champions League. So, yeah, I think he was pretty gracious right away. He put like on social media, like congratulations and all that stuff. And I think truly he's probably just happy because, and Florent, you can correct me, but he seems like he just like really loved PSG, like, and that's why he gave him, in his like air quotes, like so many chances to really try to like get to where they wanted to get. But I wanted to touch base on something Florent mentioned earlier about like kind of PSG changing their mentality from like we just want stars, big names, to like that big names don't matter. We just want a team that plays together. And to me, it seems like the mentality changed right after the Qatar World Cup. Like they were kind of bringing all these big names, the Qataris. And then once the Qatar World Cup was over, I was like, all right, cool. We got the big names. We have like all that stuff. And then now they're like, all right, Luis Enrique's in here. Mbappe, you got to go. It is what it is. You know, we're kind of going to move on. And I think there had been mentions before that were like, we're going to be just fine. Like there's no problem with him leaving. And I think that's a really strong mentality to have too.
Yeah, I strongly agree with your second part. I guess the Qataris wanted to show off their names under PSG at their World Cup, and then all of a sudden it kind of changed. I would completely disagree on your first part, Bro. I don't think Mbappe likes PSG at all.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, or at least the current, people in charge of PSG. He left for free, which is kind of crazy for such a big player. He was not playing very well the last year. He was playing for PSG. He was not involved. He couldn't care less about defending, playing for the team. It was all about his statistics and how many goals he could score. And I think it shows today in Real Madrid. Like he's been a big game changer for Real Madrid's team. He doesn't defend much. You have Vinicius already, who doesn't defend a lot, and you had to move him because Mbappe likes to play on the left, or he's playing as a striker now. But it's always a bit blurry, and I think Real Madrid being such a strong team last year and this year being much more shaky. I know you lost Kroos as well in midfield, which was a big loss.
And Carvajal last season too.
Yeah, that's true. And then with Mbappe, I think you didn't win, but winning the Champions, it's very hard. But you don't play as great as you used to now that you brought Mbappe in your squad. So I guess there is some kind of story to tell there, and I'm kind of glad that Mbappe is no longer at PSG, to be honest. You can see with France, like there is the France played against Spain yesterday, and when Mbappe is on the pitch, to me it's very painful to watch because there is no team. It's all about Mbappe, and it's very frustrating.
One thing I'll like kind of play devil's advocate on is we used to have a player at Real Madrid, defended 0, scored 50 goals every single year. And everyone on the team would say, Ronaldo does not have to come back. Like his job is not to come back. His job is not to defend. His job is to score goals, finish the game off. So I I get the mentality of like the team thing, but like we literally had Ronaldo and he did exactly what Mbappe is doing. But I think Ronaldo, for better or worse, maybe is more likable than Mbappe is. So people are like, oh, okay, he's a killer. He's going to score. He's going to finish games. And obviously, when you're winning, it's much better to say, oh, we're good. You know, we're winning the Champions League. You can do whatever you want. But that's like the only caveat that I would say that is kind of interesting because I think with Mbappe, it's very different because I don't think there's a lot that he can do for people to like him. I think he just has this aura about him maybe, or maybe it's the whole drama with PSG, Real Madrid, and he's taking them to court now and all that stuff, but he just seems like he doesn't have the likability, whether it's polarizing like Messi, Ronaldo, but he just doesn't have that little bit that makes it okay for him to not track back and stuff like that.
I agree. He's very good at not being likable. Yeah.
Especially from your side, that's for sure.
Well, I know you said he doesn't like PSG. I just want to like mention like a funny video. I don't know if you've seen it, where like the French national team's meeting up for like a training camp for the Nations League, and they're all like clapping for like all the French players that won the Champions League, and he's making fun of Terrell, who's just like kind of pouting.
Yeah, I'm not sure he would have liked that. People would make fun of him if the final was against Real Madrid, and he would have
absolutely, yeah, no, he would have not. I think it's funny. And then on the like defending thing too, Xabi Alonso has already said that he wants everyone to like start from the back and like everyone be involved in the defense and go forward. And I think it's kind of in a way mirroring like what's been successful for Luis Enrique, and it seems like there's going to definitely be more of a focus with defense. They're even paying like $10 million to get Trent Alexander-Arnold like a month early, which I mean, I know it's Real Madrid and like they have infinite money essentially. They were also just the most valuable club again, for another year in a row. But do you think it's worth it, like $10 million for a tournament?
I mean, in my opinion, I think it's not a tournament; it's the tournament, in their opinion, right? Because like I think Real Madrid just always prides themselves on like being the best at everything, and for them to say they were the first team to ever win the Club World Cup and hold that title and that patch for 4 years, like I think they're putting a lot of value into that, especially because of the season we had. They're like, oh, we got to turn around now. So I think for them, $10 million is probably worth it. And honestly, I think it's like, what are they giving out, like $1 billion in prize money? Like it'll be nothing if they end up winning it, right? Like it'll be peanuts.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, I think the prize money for the winner is like $100 million. So yeah, I guess it's a good investment. It'd be a good return on the $10 million, which I think we can transition to the Club World Cup. Actually, that's coming up.
Wait, Mario, you totally skipped Florent's segment.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, yeah, please, Florent. I am sorry. I am not.
Man, what a terrible host.
I am not the most gracious host. I apologize.
So good. I had some quick questions for you, if you don't mind. After PSG's 5-0 win during that final, tell me which match holds the second highest goal difference in a Champions League final?
Oof. Amilcar,
that's 5-0. I think Real Madrid had a 4-1, but that's only 3 goals. So I don't know if there was a 4-goal difference.
I don't think there was.
4-goal difference.
Oh, there was.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oof. Because I think against Monaco, Mourinho's Porto won 3-0. No, so it wasn't 4. I have no idea.
So there was...
Like 70s? Sorry, I don't know.
Yeah, in the 60s, 1960, Real Madrid won 7-3 against Frankfurt.
Ooh.
And in 1994, AC Milan won 4-0 against Barcelona.
Ooh.
Wow.
That's pretty wild, yeah.
That's rough in a final, too.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of like rough like score lines, I thought it was like kind how the referee like right when it hit 90, he's like, all right, we're done. Like he didn't add any time. Like this game's over.
Yes, fair. All right, I have a last one if you want.
Please.
Which country has produced the most different clubs that have won the Champions League?
Oof.
My initial thing wants to say EPL just because historically they're really good.
Yeah. I feel like, I would say that. France has had 3?
2.
2?
Florent's second favorite team, and then PSG.
I feel like Spain's maybe had like 3, so yeah, I would go with the Premier League as well. Oh, Germany might have had some.
All right, so Spain is 4th with 2
Okay.
different clubs: Barcelona, Real Madrid, obviously, and Germany 3, Italy 3, and England 6 different clubs.
Wow. Do you know for Italy, who is? It's AC and Inter, but who's one?
Maybe
the other one? Is it Juve?
Maybe. Let me see. Juventus, 2 times.
Oh. Wow. Okay.
All right, that's it for my terrible questions.
No, these are great. Thank you for it. All right, so then we can talk about, we were saying Club World Cup, or actually, do we want to just really briefly talk about the Nations League semifinals that just passed by?
I mean, I'm more than happy to talk about that. I have no problem talking about that.
Well, okay, we'll make this quick. So, Florent, your team just scored 5 goals, but you were also on the receiving end of 5 goals as well with the France national team. It was a 4-5 shootout, which I thought was a really exciting game. Amilcar, like, kudos to Spain, looking good. I will say France also looked pretty good, especially like on the last maybe 30 minutes. Florent, you mentioned you had some thoughts about Mbappe when he was playing. Who wants to take this one first? What did you guys see from your respective national teams?
Go ahead. You won, so go ahead.
All right, I'll take this one. Honestly, I'm shocked it was 5-4 just because when it was 5-0, I was like, oh, this is over. Like it's done. But exactly, literally like Florent said, he was like, you can't take your pedal like off the gas or your foot off the gas, because next thing you know, honestly, if that match was another 5, maybe 10 minutes more, it could have easily been 5-5 or France won, because I think we settled in a little bit once it was 5-0, kind of took back a little bit. But the way I look at it, I was like, I think that match is probably like a World Cup final. I think that's arguably 2 of the best teams in the world right now. I think that match is going to be better than the Portugal Spain final. So that would be a really exciting match to watch. But I just don't see how you pick whether you're going to crash on Lamine Yamal's side or whether you're going to crash on Williams' side. It's just like you're kind of screwed on both sides because they're both so good, like national team wise, and they're so fast. And we short up our defense, which is nice. So it's just the only thing that we're missing, I think, from like having a really full solid team is that striker. We kind of play that false 9, don't really have like a striker except for Morata when he plays, but he's kind of like hot and cold, a little bit older. So that'll be it. But if Yamal and Nico Williams are just running the sides, I really don't see how a team is gonna beat us, honestly.
I think Spain was a much better team than France. I think we got lucky scoring 4 goals. I don't have any. I think the front, like the attack of France, is pretty solid, if not very good. But the rest of the team, like the midfielders and defense, it's atrocious. And the goalkeeper, like, cannot make any save. I think it's very disappointing. And I think we got very lucky to end on a 5-4 on the scoreboard. I think Spain had it for a very long time, and France was only able to score 3 goals in like 20 minutes or so, just because Spain was just chilling and waiting for the game to end. But I don't have a lot of hope. I think it's Deschamps last year, and he's not very into adding new players to the team. So he's been staying with the same guys, which are not just competitive as they should be. So it's I don't know. I don't have a lot of hopes. I don't think France will make it to the final anytime soon. So, but we'll see.
Would you see Zidane taking over then as head coach?
Yeah, I think Zidane is already scheduled to take over in 2026. Yeah.
Okay. And then you mentioned the goalkeeper, Mignon. So you're not a big fan, because I've been watching Onana at Manchester United this past season. So I was kind of eyeing Mignon as someone that I was like, oh, I wish we had that instead. So I'm curious, who would you rather see like on the French national team if not Mignon? Could Lloris come back if he has a good Club World Cup, or is that too far gone?
I used to love Lloris, but I think it's time for him to retire in LA, right? He's having a good time here. Yeah. Mignon can be very good. He's shown some great games in the past, but he had a kind of difficult year at Milan this year. and he's just not as impactful as he used to be. There is another goalkeeper in France. His name is Chevalier. He's playing for Lille in France. He's very unknown. He's kind of new and young. He's pretty short, but he's very energetic and he can jump very, very high. I think he would, just try to switch from one to another and see how it goes. But I agree with you. I wouldn't pick Onana over Maignan.
And obviously, I know none of us not French, but I was just talking for like club for Manchester United. Something I do appreciate in the French national team, and is that they're never out of it. They have, like you said, especially with strikers, they have so much talent that they can still, like most teams, a 3-0, you already think like it's not going to happen, and like they always make for an interesting game, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I honestly kind of like was interested in the point you were making about Didier Deschamps, like kind of last kind of hurrah before the World Cup, and kind of keeping the same players, because that's exactly how what happened to Spain. I think after like their golden era, the 2008 to like 2012 Euros and World Cup, the coach just kept the same players because people, they were scared to say like, okay, you're old, we got to like kind of revamp, and they had a full reset of like, all right, everyone, you guys are all gone. It's like a brand new kind of set. So I'm wondering, I don't think it's quite the same in France because the team is so young. I mean, relatively to a lot of other nations. But someone that really drew my attention, and I think it's like obviously PSG and France, and especially the France game, is Desiree Doué. I'm probably not saying his name right, but he looks like he's going to be just unreal. Like every time he had the ball, I'm like, oh God, this guy's just going to like dribble past someone, crazy shots. Like, yeah, he's a scary player.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's one of the most exciting players to watch in France as a young player, and I'm really looking forward to see him develop and see how he's going to produce in the upcoming years. But yeah, he's very good, very talented.
Yeah. Last one is Vitinha. He is, I think, the key to PSG, man. That guy is unreal as well. And for Portugal, I think he plays just like he plays a Toni Kroos role, which is exactly what you need to just control the entire match. But he's like doesn't get the spotlight maybe that other players do, like Toni Kroos didn't. But he's what makes it go. And I think that guy is also another impeccable player that hopefully you guys can keep for a long time.
That'd be great. Yeah, he's pretty talented as well.
Yeah, I think João Neves too is another like pretty good young Portuguese guy.
Yeah, he's like 20, and I guess he's like 24 or something. It's crazy.
Yeah, super young, and that'll be like the other side of the Nations League final. And someone that's twice that age, Ronaldo, he still honestly had a pretty good game. Looked like he still had it. He's like, I think for sure gonna be at one more World Cup for like kind of like the same reason that like Argentina and Messi got like their storybook ending in a way. It'd be nice to see Ronaldo get that in a sense, at least for me personally, just growing up. Like he's one of the few players that I was watching when I was like in middle school that's still playing, and I'm now an adult man in my 30s. He's kind of like a superhero for me. But we won't be seeing him at the Club World Cup, and we will be seeing some of the players we just mentioned, especially on the PSG side. What are you thinking? Because we have Real Madrid coming in, like you mentioned, trying to make a statement win for Xabi Alonso, get his first trophy, and then Florent. PSG just won like best team in Europe, which is essentially usually the best leagues in the world anyways. So does that mean if you can win the Champions League, you can win this tournament? Obviously it's like a shorter format tournament, but what are both of your expectations for your respective teams? And is there a setup where these teams can play each other in the final?
That'll be fun. But it's been a long season, I think. And after winning the Champions, I guess you kind of mentally you're a bit exhausted, and that's when you start having injuries and you need to get some rest, which any of the PSG player won't have. Same with Inter Milan, because I think they will be at the Club World Cup as well. So we'll see. I mean, anything can happen, but I think I don't see PSG winning that one. You never know, but I think they are very exhausted and need some rest.
I think that's a great point. I think, and we kind of touched on it on our previous podcast, where it was like we had talked about how PSG had won the French league early on, so they can kind of mentally turn that side of it off and kind of focus on one goal. And we were wondering what's better for you to be like mentally always on and physically like ready to play a meaningful game every week, or is it better to be like, all right, I can turn this part off, I'm only focused on the Champions League, and that's what it is. So obviously for PSG that worked because they were obviously they tied up the league, weeks ago, and they were able to focus on that. But I think the mental aspect is something that not a lot of people talk about. I think it's usually the physical. It's usually like, are you going to get injured, this and that? But there's only so much you can be on and ready and locked in. You know what I mean? And I think, like you said, I think the PSG players are probably just so exhausted right now. And they went from literally winning to probably one day of celebration to a flight to the French to France to play the Nations League to now go to the United States. So it's going to be a lot for any of these players. So, which is why I think there might be some surprises. I think there might be some stuff that we just haven't seen because this is not normal for them to play throughout all the summer again and not really have a break. So I think I would not be surprised if there's upsets with the maybe not American teams, but like some of the Latin American teams. I think there might be some surprises there. And honestly, in a knockout, anything can happen. Anything can happen, really.
And then you add the concept of the big prize money that you can get, and not that like $100 million is a lot of money, assuming you win it. But there are some teams that are better positioned to if they don't get it, like PSG and Real Madrid, respectively, are both teams that have like they're pretty like financially speaking pretty sound. But you talk about like a Brazilian team to win $100 million, even a Mexican team, anyone really, but especially like in like a North American, South American team, that is some serious money. And so yeah, it's just a different incentive.
It would be more fun to see the underdogs just trying to make it to the final or semifinals. That's all we care about, right? If it's only always the same teams winning over and over, it's kind of boring. It's like another tournament to make the same teams win. So if a Latin American team or whoever can win it or go far in the tournament, that would be fun for everybody. It's going to be a great promotion for that new cup.
Totally agree, and especially like in a competitive setting, because we see like the North American, South American teams play like European teams when they're in like the summer tour, but it's more like kind of like more of a friendly. It's a little like more like just so that the fans can like see their like the stars play a little bit. They play maybe 20-30 minutes, so it'd be interesting seeing them in like a more of a competitive format. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Something that will be fun too is I feel like every World Cup, there's all these random players that you have never really seen. They just have a breakout in the World Cup. I think there's gonna be some similar stuff like that from some smaller clubs, and then you're gonna have the likes of PSG, Real Madrid, Barcelona. All of a sudden, they're all gonna be in on these players once they play these competitive matches. So that'll be also really fun to watch.
Yeah, that's true. Like one that comes to mind was James Rodriguez. He had that like amazing golazo. I think it was like against Uruguay, and that he really like. He dined on that for a while. He basically went to Europe and he went to Real Madrid, Bayern Munich. And he's a player that's not bad, but he's usually just better with the national team. At the club level, he's been okay, but that kind of just catapulted him. Keylor Navas, too. I think it's the same World Cup. He had a good World Cup. Ends up at Real Madrid. And he actually, I think, earned his... Not that James didn't earn it, but I think Keylor Navas kind of like showed what he promised at the World Cup. He ended up showing. I think he won 2 or 3 Champions Leagues with Real Madrid, and then he went to PSG as well. So
yeah, he was amazing at
PSG. Yeah. So we could see another one of those come out of this tournament. Mm-hmm. Amilcar, you want to? I think you mentioned a bit of a rapid fire we had for our host or our guest today.
I think sorry, we missed a topic about Lamine Yamal. I'm very curious to hear.
Oh yes, please,
if you don't mind. If you want to start on Lamine Yamal and compare it with Mbappe, I'm very curious to have your opinion before I can share mine.
Amilcar's brother-in-law has like roasted me a lot because in one of the shows I said that Lamine Yamal and Mbappe were comparable to each other, and he's clearly like he sent me after like he listened to the episode like stats how Mbappe's basically scored more goals and been like at the same age that Lamine Yamal is. But I think he's still a rising star. So what I was curious is like if you all think that, I guess could this be? And there's a lot of talented players that right now that could potentially be like this. But could this be like our new Ronaldo Messi type rivalry?
Yeah, I think the age difference is. I don't think there will be a Lamine Yamal Mbappe's rivalry. I think Mbappe is like almost 10 years older than Yamal already. He's like almost 27, and
Not
Yamal
true.
is not even 18 yet. But I think Yamal and Mbappe are two different players. I think Yamal is more like Messi, and Mbappe is more like Ronaldo. So maybe I can see some rivalry here. But to me, Yamal is much better than Mbappe at 17. Mbappe, I think, was great and was the best when he was 20. So a bit later, being doing what Yamal is doing at 17 is kind of unbelievable. Playing for Barcelona, scoring more goals than Messi, more appearances than Messi, who was already obviously very young when he did all that. So I don't see maybe Yamal, and to get back on what Amilcar said earlier, maybe Due and Yamal can
Yeah.
be like an interesting rivalry in the upcoming years.
Yeah, and we'll see how like Due continues to develop because he just started getting like serious minutes around December of this past year, and he's really made the most out of it. So yeah, I think that's a good point. I guess I'm also getting older that I just think like Mbappe was like 22, 23, and I just thought he stopped aging. But that's a really really good point, and I'm glad that you not only like you think Lamine Jamal's better, but at least it kind of validates my point. So Mr. Leo, who's been criticizing me, I hope you're listening to this.
Yeah, I think it's interesting though. Like I'll disagree. Just I mean, I think like Florent said, like I don't think there's gonna be a comparison because the age difference is just way too much. I think Ronaldo Messi's like 3-4
Yeah.
years maybe, if that. So but the one thing with Lamine Yamal is it's like a cautionary tale because like we heard this with Ansu Fati like 4 years ago. It's like, oh, this is next Messi. He had one great season, which I think Lamine Yamal has already eclipsed that because he's been doing it for the national team and things like that. But and then you probably haven't heard about Ansu Fati in probably 3 years. He's still in Barcelona, still has a 10 jersey, but he doesn't play anymore. You know what I mean? So that's the interesting part. That's the one thing I will say about Mbappe. At least he has more of a track record. So at least you can say, okay, he's been doing it for 4, 5, 6, 7 years. But I think if Lamine Yamal keeps up what he's doing now, it's not even going to be a question. That's not even going to be a question. You're going to be then comparing him to like what we had with Ronaldo and what we had with Messi as like a generational talent. If he can keep this up for 3, 4, 5, 6 years, that's my opinion.
And if that happens too, I think you'll be able to make the argument that Messi literally passed down his talent to Lamine Yamal when he did that photo shoot with him as a baby. Like I mean, you just cannot write that. Like that is just an insane coincidence.
Do you want to talk about the Ballon d'Or for this year? There is so many titles about Lamine Yamal versus Ousmane Dembélé. I'm obviously very biased. I think Dembélé deserves it because he's been playing amazing. He has scored more goals than Yamal this year. He won the Champions, obviously. Yes, he lost in the semi-final in the Nations League, but who cares about that cup anyway? So, curious, what are your thoughts there?
I think Lamine Yamal thinks he deserves it. Something that we're comparing him to Messi. He's a little bit less maybe humble than Messi. He did say like, "Oh, let's have Thursday be the where we decide who should win it." Um, but on the statistics you mentioned too, yeah, I think Dembele has like a really good strong case for it. I think it's an award that sometimes it depends on other factors other than like performance. I think that was part of like Messi winning it this last time around when he won the World Cup. But Amilcar also like doesn't like that. But yeah, I think Dembele has actually a better chance, and I think he might be slightly more deserving. And maybe I biasly just think Yamal will have more chances in his career just because he's so young.
Honestly, who knows? It might come out of left field. It might be Donnarumma. You have no idea now. With that award, it's like before you used to kind of like have an idea on who was going to win it, this and that. And now, like after the whole Vinicius debacle, um, it's just so difficult to understand what the criteria is. It's like before it was like, okay, if you won, I don't know, the World Cup or if you won a Champions League or something, you were kind of almost guaranteed to someone on that team to get it. But then last year was like, okay, well, runner up or lost in the quarters, Rodri. And obviously they won the Euros, but it's just I don't really understand the criteria anymore. And now they have like that weird like third criteria, which is like sportsmanship, which I guess depending on who you ask, like, I don't know, you can go everywhere. And like, I think Rafinha was up there for the Ballon d'Or until Barcelona got knocked out of the Champions League. And there was so many videos of him doing like stuff that, probably isn't super sportsmanlike, but, I'm biased towards Vinicius, because he's Real Madrid, but like he also has the bad boy attitude and like the bad boy persona. So anything he does is just magnified. But that's on him. So thinking about that, like what even does that mean? Like, are they going to find one clip of Lamine Yamal doing something that he shouldn't have done? Or, I mean, Dembélé just seems like a very humble guy. Like he just seems like a very chill, very humble dude. So, I mean, I think I like going the title route. Like, I think if you've been just all around the best player on your team when you won, that's Dembele. But like if you're talking about just pure like MVP, like the best player, which I don't think that's what this title is, I think you could argue that Lamine Yamal, but like the stats just don't back it up. Like when you go goals, assists, all that stuff, it just doesn't back up him being the best player. But when you see him touch the ball, you're like, holy crap, that's wild, So it's a toss up, I think.
So I think narrative is a big part of it. Like depending like what story you can. It's like when you're applying to a job. How can you like put some of your skills, like you're proving what you like how you can do the job, but the other intangibles that sometimes get brought up in like the behavioral interviews. And I also like the Dembele narrative. It's like two Barcelona, like if we're talking about Yamal and Dembele, two like Barcelona players, one former, one current, and like Dembele was like really young at Barcelona, but didn't necessarily get the opportunities or didn't really break through. And now at PSG, he's just really shine. So I think that's from a narrative perspective a pretty good story and a good sale for him.
That's true. And who won the best player in La Liga this year? It's Rafinha. It's not even Lamine Yamal, which is very surprising. I mean, Rafinha had a terrific season. Don't get me wrong, but it would be very surprising to win the Ballon d'Or if you didn't win the Liga as best player, right? Mm-hmm. But who knows? Different criteria, as you said.
Exactly. It's always a toss-up.
Yeah, and maybe the Club World Cup will depend too. We have a few months to the ceremony. I think it's like late in September, so there is usually some recency bias as well. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah. So all right, now I'm going to go to my rapid fire questions. Florent, it's just quick questions. You can give me some quick answers or maybe not, depending on how you feel. But all right, first one. What was your favorite team growing up?
I didn't really have one. I was born in the middle of nowhere in France, and we didn't have any team close by. Maybe not even 100 miles away.
Oh wow!
So I was just
for Europe. That's actually really far.
I mean, the closest was maybe Lyon, but I've never rooted for them. I don't think I had any. I guess I was just rooting for the one who was playing in the Champions League because you could see the match on French national TV. My parents hate soccer or football, so they never wanted that on TV. So they never paid for to watch any games. So I had to wait for the free games on TV, and it was usually the Nations or Champions League finals. So yeah, I didn't have any.
Florent, if I may, I do want to disagree with something you said. You do not live in the middle, or you did not grow up in the middle of nowhere. I've actually had the pleasure of going to Florent's hometown, Annecy, and please correct me if I'm mispronouncing it. It is one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to. It is gorgeous. So it is not. Maybe it's so beautiful that Florent doesn't want people to discover it. He's actually trying to keep it a. I don't know if it's like a well-kept secret, but it's very beautiful.
It's pretty, and now they have a team like the Annecy team, Annecy FC, I guess, and they play in League 2 in France, which is kind of unbelievable. But I've never been to a game yet, so I have to go.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, next question. Who's your favorite player? Soccer player.
I have quite a few. Some kind of unknown player. When I was growing up, I really liked some. I really liked Dugarry. He was playing for France back in the 1998 World Cup. He didn't play well, and he was a big friend of Zidane, and people were saying that he was in the squad because he's a friend with Zidane, not because of his talent. But I really liked him for whatever reason. I think he was very physical, and I, for some reason, liked it. Yeah, I think that's it. That would be the one I would pick, yeah.
Sweet. And then who would you say is your French GOAT? The greatest of all time France player.
That's a tough one. Let me think about it. I would say Griezmann. I think he was the best player all around what we had. Maybe not the shiniest one, but the more complete. Not as creative as Zidane, Platini, not as efficient as Thierry Henry or many others, but Griezmann was the reason why we had some success in the past 10 years or 15 years. That's because of him. So I would say Griezmann was the most complete player. Yeah.
Wow, I like that a lot. Actually, I was surprised when you first said it, but then the reasons you mentioned actually make a lot of sense. And I also get the perception that he's like a team player, that he's like a pretty like nice guy. And he was really close with Carlos Vela, which was a really like talented Mexican player. I think they were both at Real Sociedad together. And so he's had a pretty interesting career. Like he's played at a lot of different places.
Yeah, and then so who's your all-time GOAT?
I guess I was growing up with Beckham, so I guess Beckham would be my GOAT. Again, not the most talented one, but overall very impressive. And I'm a lefty, and I really love to kick free kicks. I'm not sure how to say it properly, and I was training every day to sorry, I'm butchering here, but I wanted to shoot the ball as good as Beckham with my left foot. It was my dream when I was growing up, and I've tried it so many times and never got any success out of it. But I would say Beckham was up there. Yeah.
Sweet. And the question we're all wondering: Messi or Ronaldo? Who do you side with?
Ronaldo, any day.
Nice. I figured when you said the free kick thing, I was like, oh, he's got to be a Ronaldo fan. The free kicks doesn't get better than that.
Messi is so annoying. I've always found it very annoying. And when he played for PSG, it was even worse. So I'm like, Ronaldo every day.
I think Florent and I were at work somewhere. We're talking about Messi, and Florent's like, he doesn't run. I was like, what do you mean he doesn't run? He doesn't run. Watch his games. He does not run. And then he showed me a clip of him. I think he was at Inter Miami already. And he literally did not move from like center field. He just like, everyone's running around them. You could see like the midfielders like basically passing him. And he's just like in a little circle. And then he like sprints when he needs to.
Great player, but I just cannot stand him.
Yeah. All right. This is an interesting question. Would you rather PSG win another Champions League or France another World Cup?
That's a tough one.
That's hard because now you've had success. Yeah. You've seen both of them now, so
I would go with PSG though. We had too many disappointments. Yeah.
Wow, I'm surprised. I'm okay. Spain another World Cup or Real Madrid another Champions League?
Mario, I don't think you can compare that. When you have like 15 of them, it's 100% another World Cup. Like it's, I guess that's no true, questions.
Yeah. That's true. Good point.
What about you, Mario?
Oh, Mexico for sure winning the World Cup. What do I have to do? Like,
oh my God, that's amazing. All right, these are a little bit more just like this or that. So, VAR, do you like it or do you hate it? The VAR.
I like it.
Like it? Awesome. Would you rather have a penalty shootout or a golden goal?
Penalty shootout.
Nice. This is a fun one. Which club has the most annoying fans?
Marseille.
Nice. Best goal you have ever seen?
Like live or on TV?
Just on TV, YouTube, anything.
I would say Zlatan against Ajaccio, when he was playing for PSG. There is like a ball coming from nowhere and he's just kind of kicking it with his back heel. It's kind of crazy. So maybe we should share the link somewhere, but it was kind of unbelievable.
Yes, we'll definitely put it in the podcast notes for sure. All right, I got 3 more. So best stadium you've ever been to or want to go to?
Best stadium I went to was obviously Parc des Princes for PSG. The one I would love to go, the one in Brazil. What's the name of it? Sorry, I'm butchering.
Maracanã?
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that is a really good one.
All right, last 2. Are you a beer drinker or wine drinker?
I would go with beer, actually. But not IPA, please.
What's like a good French beer that you like?
There's no good French beer.
Okay.
Amazing.
All the other food is amazing, but yeah, I guess not the beer.
Let's
Okay,
keep the beer.
which one do you like then?
I like lager. Lager from Belgium would be my favorite. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. And then going on the food, what's your favorite French food?
It's a thing called tartiflette. It's potatoes with French bacon, and you have some creme fraiche and some cheese on top of it, and you put it in the oven, and it's gonna grill. The cheese has to be a very specific cheese, and it's very heavy. Like, do not count your calories when you eat that. But after ski, it's the perfect dish to go to bed and wake up in the morning. Like, you're still full in the morning. Yeah. Love it.
That's amazing. That's all I have, Florent. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
There you have it, Florent. We got to know more about PSG. We got to learn a lot of things I hadn't learned about you before, Florent.
Full of surprise.
You sure are. Are you excited for the PSG game this upcoming weekend?
I am. I'm actually going to the Rose Bowl in Pasadena to see them. So it's, I never see them playing anymore because I'm in the US now. So very excited about that. Yeah, let's see how it goes.
Oh, that should be really, really fun. I'm still deciding. I'll see if I end up going last minute, but hope you have a good time. Thank you so much for joining us. We're hoping that maybe if PSG has a deep run, and if not, for sure, we're getting ready. Before we know it, the World Cup will be back. So we would love to have you back to talk more about if you're right, if France does or doesn't make it to the final, or at least a deep run in the World Cup. So thank you again for joining us, and thank you everyone for listening.
Sweet.
Thank you, guys.